Top of the morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us this great Friday morning on Wells Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio and your state number one family radio station, broadcasting live from Wells Broadcasting House along Alafin Avenue, Oluyole Estate here in Ibadan, the capital of your state. Today is Friday, the 29th of August, 2025. And from our studio, it is 6:32 a.m. I hope you're well. Thank God it is Friday. And let's ensure that we get the well-deserved rest this weekend as much as you can. You know, spend time with family, enjoy your life. It is so short, but you must enjoy it as much as you can so you can make the best of it. God bless you as you do that. Welcome to the program. This is Perspectives Unlimited. We bring to you the top stories in Nigeria for today. And of course, we bring you in-depth analysis to help you understand the stories making the rounds in Nigeria better. Our analyst is right here in the studio, standing by, to weigh in or chime in at the appropriate time. And also you, our very lovely and darling listener at home, also have the opportunity to call in right into the show, share your thought and perspective, not to rant, not just to talk, but of course your call is well appreciated because it is part of nation building and developing our great nation, Nigeria. Let's do it together, shall we? Now let's start with the Punch newspaper this morning with the top stories on the front page. On page 2 of the Punch, federal government, ASO, clash over 2021 agreement. On page 40, NEC unveils roadmap for $1 trillion economy by 2030. On page 28, long-term neglect hindering refineries revamp, says NNPC. Long-term neglect hindering refineries revamp, says NNPC. On page 39, federal government defends passport price hike to 100,000 naira, 200,000 naira. You find the story on page 39 today. On page 27 of the Punch, which is the major story on the front page of the Punch for today. Tariff war. Federal government intervenes as state disco rift deepens. The rider says NERC summoned meeting between state energy commissioners and disco's operators. Tariff reduction can't work. Discos are focused on power sector reforms, says commissioner. And on page 40, motorists lament slow Shagamu Ijebuode road repairs. On page 40. On page 39, awaiting trial inmate feeding gulps 14 billion naira in 8th month. Awaiting trial inmate, they are feeding gulps 14 billion naira in 8th month. Now moving on to page 2, INEC pushes back as opposition reject Southwest voter figures. On page 4 and 5, how 8,000 dispute led to Lagos market killing, says traders. And finally, on the Nigerian Tribune for this Friday morning. On page 28, federal government eye 21% GDP boost e-governance bill. You find all of this story on the Punch for today in Nigeria. Now let's move on to the Guardian newspaper. Ethiopia to rank second in SSA's era production with Dangote's 3-meat fertilizer plant. NNPC vows to revive refineries, shop for 60 billion to expand capacity. On page 3 of the Guardian. On page 27, you can't intimidate us, Osun workers, tell federal government over withheld local government funds. On page 3, 2027, I am not leaving NNPP, but open to discussion, says Kwakwanso. On big stories, page 4 and 5 of The Guardian, bad for business, surge in unruly fan conduct, match day violence, plague NPFL in crisis. On page 7, federal government approves lifetime salary for retiring senior officers. On page 7, Nigeria facing malnutrition, 79% food insecure, says federal government. tertiary institutions on edge as ASU, SANUP, FG, field heighten strike fears on page 6. On the same page, INEC fires back as ADC PDP demands probe of new voters' record in Osho on page 6. And on page 29, kidnappers of Katina couple, daughter, demand 600 million naira ransom. And finally, this morning on the Nigerian Tribune, PDP considering Jonathan Obi for 2027 presidency, Bauchi Gov confirms. On page 15, we're under attack. NNPC CEO cries out, oil workers back reforms. Now moving on to the major story on page 3, federal government denies signing any agreement with ASU, describes document as draft, set up technical team to fine-tune government's proposal. Well, when ASU refers to 2009, you'll be wondering, but here the federal government denies signing any agreement with ASU, describes the document as a draft, and now set up technical team to fine-tune government approval. On page 4, 2027, I am not contesting any position, says El Rufai. On page 4, excess crude account now $535,823. NEC orders accelerated reforms. That's the rider to the story on page 15. And on page 5, Ibadan Convention, PDP set to inaugurate Fintiri, Makinde Adeleke, Fubara, Saraki, 105 orders as organizing members. In health, on page 3, diabetics feels more aggressive breast cancers. On page 15. On page 12, federal government targets 1 week passport delivery, vows to end racketeering. On page 30, Editors Guild decries killings of journalists in Gaza. And finally, on page 30, Abuja Kaduna road safe, Omokri claims as it tours the road. And here the photo story, Oshun public servant holds solidarity rally for Adeleke, says is empathetic to the workers. That's all we can take this morning on the front page. Thank you for joining us on Perspectives Unlimited for this morning, Friday, the 29th day in the month of August 2025. Do well to join us across all our social media platforms on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Wells Radio 893 FM fan page. And also you can watch us live on our YouTube platform, Wells Radio 89.3 FM. Let's take a break. When we come back, right after the break, we take the stories. And of course, our in-house analyst here will definitely weigh in on all of the stories. Stay with us.
Fast forward since democracy started in 1999 to now, people are quick to say ASU has been on strike on so number of times, schools have been closed, and you wonder what government itself thinks about these actions. When this government came into power 2.5 years or so ago, we had engaged them. This is the second Minister of Education since the advent of this administration. We engaged Professor Tahir Mamman over these issues. We've engaged this current minister, Dr. Tunja Lausa, over these issues. And it appears as if the machines, of government work extremely slow. And we've heard that over and over again. And we say to ourselves, why can't you make it more efficient? Why can't you make the government more responsive to these issues? But it is what it is that they say it's slow. But we think that we have demonstrated enough patience. We've kept the schools open.
Count this, which used to be 79,000 as entry point, and endpoint was 342,000, will now be 109,000 and endpoint 471. Halves with MDS and all that, which is what used to be called the minimum wage and all that, should be now, instead of 76,000 presently and 275, we will now move it as entry point, which is the minimum, 104,000. And then the end point will be 431,000.
It's necessary to emphasize here that the reform that I've embarked upon since I took over in Nigeria has been very impactful. I can beat my chest for that. It was initially painful, but today the result is blossoming. It's getting clearer to the people. We have more money to the economy, no more corruption. We have the governor of Central Bank here. You don't have to know him before you get the foreign exchange that you need. The speculators are out in our currency market. The door is open for businesses. Easy in, easy out.
First question is Nigeria better today than 2 years ago? So I assume that is for yes. Is Nigeria better today than 2 years ago? Okay, let's go to the second question. Do you think, order please, do you think the nation is on the right track with the policies of the Tinubu government?
Welcome back to the program. This is Perspectives Unlimited on Wells Radio 89.3 FM. Mr. Olale Konsoni joins me in the studio this morning. Good morning to you, and how are you doing?
Good morning, Chief. I'm doing well. How
Good
about
morning. How was your week?
It has been wonderful. It has been blissful.
We thank God. You danced into the studio this morning. What's up? What's the heads up?
The truth of the matter is that Nigeria has come to a point where you just have to give yourself happiness. You need to overlook what's happening around you and just drive happiness into your body. Because if you don't do that and something else finds its way into your body, God help you.
God help. It is well. There's a lot to catch up with before we dive into the top stories for today. Hopefully we can do that very quickly. Before your voice, we listen to the voice of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Brazil, where the president referred to, the economic reforms working and authoritatively said, I can beat my chest to it. No corruption anymore. You don't need to know the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria before you get, the foreign exchange that you want. And the other voice right after that is the voice of Seun Akinbaloye of Channels Television, moderating a session at the recently concluded NBA conference in Enugu. And then the voice in the background screaming no at every question. That's a gathering of over 11,000 lawyers, if I'm not mistaken. Seun reeling out the yes or no question, and then the lawyers screaming no to that. I'll hold on that for a moment. We'll come to that, and I want to get your reaction. The president's statement and the reaction of the lawyers, not just the Nigerians at the lowest point
That
of
is
the...
what they call real-time reality check.
All right. But let's take this very quickly. In a world where reality television, has taken the center stage, and most, now in this generation, an opportunity or avenue for a lot of young people to catapult themselves from one level to the other level, which usually now, the moment they are done, become overnight celebrity. But a federal government rewards Nigerian teen for winning global English contest. A remarkable 17-year-old student of Yobe State, Nafisat Abdullah Aminu, has captured global acclaim by topping the highly competitive 2025 Teens Eagle Global Final held in London, outperforming over 20,000 participants from 69 countries, native English-speaking nations. Nafisat emerged as the world's best in English language skills. She represented Nigeria Tulip International College in Yobe and was celebrated as a spirit of excellence and academic brilliance. In response, the federal government has stepped up with a generous reward of 200,000 naira, honoring the lady for the exceptional feat. I know there's currently a reality television show going on right now. When the winner will walk away being a millionaire, and if properly managed with the right talent manager, may become a millionaire for the rest of their life. Recently, Kwantu, and all of the issues that characterize that. On Sunday, the governor of the state also spoke to do something for her, and so many. What is a goodwill, financial goodwill, I can call this, pouring in left, right, and center. Let me get your thought in on this generous, compensation, as it has been tagged, for the lady who made Nigeria proud on the global stage.
Seriousness, while you were reading the text of the story, I was fuming. But the point you got to where you said generous donation of 200,000, I couldn't help it. I just started laughing. It was a complete U-turn. The truth of the matter is that the country is a joke right now, and I'm not in the least way, by any means, proud of the current president. People went to outside of the country to go and do their trade, football. Some people went to go and do basketball, and they won. And they were given $100,000, which is around 155 million naira as we speak right now. They were awarded homes and all sorts of beautiful things. Another set of people, 4 of them, went to represent Nigeria at the global English, examination. It should be noted that a lot of their peers, people they competed against, are native speakers of English. By that, I mean people from the United Kingdom itself, people from America and Australia, New Zealand. And guess what? These people from Yobe State, which is no disrespect here, an educationally disadvantaged state in Nigeria, came home winning, defeating 20,000 competitors from across the globe. And the best you can do is to give them 200,000 naira. That is ridiculous. It is foolish. It is dumb. It's not something that should be done at all. In all seriousness, if you could have given people who won football, basketball, 150 million naira to show that education is not a scam, as it is said often in the streets, right?
Just to prove that point.
Just to prove that point, we should have given them not less than 200 million naira. Because for me, academics remains the best path to success. That is what it should be. Having a skill in football, sports generally, music, dancing, that should be an added advantage. The core foundation should be education. And people went out flying the country's colors, and they won in a competition that nobody even gave them any chance. I should be blunt here. I don't think an English person can speak Yoruba more than I do. But these children went to the United Kingdom, the origin of English language, and they defeated them. And what you can give them is money that cannot even buy you full day meal at most of our luxury hotels in the country. I mean, that tells you that the government has told us in clear terms that education is a scam. Am I surprised? I am not surprised. That is what happens.
Are you disappointed?
Thoroughly disappointed. But that is what happens in a country where the president himself told us that he printed his own certificate after graduating from school. I don't believe this president values education. Because if he values education, if he went through school properly, he wouldn't be doing this. Number one, he should have welcomed those children back into the country, just like he did for the football team and the basketball team. But rather, it is a minister that I can describe as a failure, looking at how everybody in the educational sector is saying we want to go on strike. I mean, it took that minister to say, okay, now we are going to give you a generous... These people know too well that they are making a mockery of the system. They know too well. When it was 150 million, they were saying, don't complain, it's not too much. But 200,000, he didn't label 150 million as generous, but you are labeling 200,000 as generous. It's about playing with our people's brain, and anybody who allows them to play with his brain, God help such a person.
Let's move on to President Bola Tinubu's statement in Brazil, and of course the reaction from lawyers at the NBA conference in Enugu.
See, the truth of the matter is that I want to believe within my mind that the current president knows too well that he has failed beyond measure. I said it somewhere during the week. The president has not carried out one single reform. Rather, what the president is doing across board is to increase the price of services and commodities. Reforms are designed to bring solutions to problems. Which sector can the president point at and say, I have fixed the problem in that sector? None. Rather, he has created more problems by adding to the pain and suffering of Nigerians.
Can we say the same of, say, the Nigerian immigrations with passports?
It's not
usually in the country. It can take as high as 6 months, 7 months.
Sometimes a whole year.
A whole year. I mean, I've been trapped in that before to get your international passport.
It's something all of us.
Now you can get that in. I mean, before this current announcement, which they promised 1 week, you can get that out in 2 weeks, 3 weeks
without packaging.
Without packaging, yes.
Are you serious?
Yes, I got that
Well,
without packaging, without paying anyone.
Okay. Well, the truth of the matter is that you have no justification as a government to increase the price of a particular service or product simply because you want to make it more efficient. It doesn't work that way. They created these artificial bottlenecks so that they can, find a reason to tell Nigerians that this is why we want to increase the price of this service. Like I said, yes, we had queues at our filling station. But till this very present day, nobody has been able to tell me the relationship between queues and an increase in the price of petroleum products. And I have friends at the immigration service. I was speaking to one yesterday who told me point blank that since the last increase in the price of the passport, of the international passport, that traffic has almost come to a halt.
Oh, wow.
That people don't flock in like they used to flock in. So with that alone, don't you think that whatever is on the ground is going to go round easily and faster than it used to do? And now that it is around 100,000, it is at 100,000, that is without quote unquote packaging. Traffic is going to further slow down so that at the end of the day, before, if 10 people were coming in per hour to get a passport, now it's going to be 1 person per hour to get a passport. So tell me why that person is going to get the passport immediately. The government has not solved any problem whatsoever. It's about removing the list of people coming in. And it's still the same thing for the petroleum sector. We all know the filling stations in our Oluyole here. In the past, we could see that people were trooping in en masse to buy fuel. And then if you were to enter the filling stations, if 10 people came in, at least 8 would say fill up. Now today it's 4,000 here, 3,000 here. Before, people were trooping in, number one. Number two, they were taking more time to fill up their vehicles. But now, 4 liters here, 5 liters here, people are out within a very short period of time. So will there be traffic at the filling stations? No. This is exactly what this government is doing, which in my opinion is evil. Now the president went to Brazil to go and say things that till this very present moment I have not been able to understand. When you came on board, it was a bit painful, but now you can beat your chest that things are going well in Nigeria. Excuse me, Mr. President, are you kidding me? Things are not going well. You yourself, you know within your mind that things are not going well. Let's look at it. All the price index that went up when he came on board, has any of them come down? Nope. So how can you now look us in the face and tell us that things are getting well when in reality you know within your mind that things are getting nastier? And God bless you, Joaquin Baloye. He did a real-time reality check. Fellow Nigerians, fellow citizens, your president in faraway Brazil said that things are getting better in the country. Is that true or false? And these are lawyers who are almost everywhere in society. Whatever you want to do, you need an agreement. No matter the sector that you operate in this country, you need a lawyer. And these are people who have clients from all over the country, across all sectors. If there have been activities in all the sectors in the country, of course, a lot of people would have been calling them, take your 10%, okay, I'm not paying 10% because of the money is too high, let me give you 2.5 or 5%. But that has not been happening, and that is why they are screaming at the top of their lungs. Mr. President, you have been failing seriously. And, you know, I love the question she asked after the question that, is the country better off? They said no. Now, reverse back to 2.5 years ago when this guy came on board. And now, which is better? They said then was better. Nothing should tell the president more than that he has failed beyond measure.
All right, we're going to take a break now. When we come back, we dive into the conversation around, I want to talk about Governor Hope Uzodima's minimum wage increment to 104,000 naira. And also we talk about ASU, which is also a big story in the news today. The federal government on the Nigerian Tribune this morning says denying any agreement with ASU. They describe the document as a draft, and ASU keep referring back to 2009. We'll look at that and more when we come back. Stay with us.
How long will it take you to confirm payment? I have been waiting for the past 1 hour. I'm so sorry. Our network is slow. I will just run out of data. Same excuse yesterday. It is unacceptable, please. You better switch to One Data Internet Service.
One Data?
Yes, One Data. One Data is an internet service provider with the best alternative and solution for unlimited speed. One Data provides fast and reliable internet service to organizations, homes, and places of interest in Nigeria. With One Data, you get to enjoy the premium internet service with dedicated unlimited internet speed at all times, 24/7 fantastic customer service and support, and you enjoy a 1-month free subscription when you make payment. Now is the time to say goodbye to downtimes. Sign up with One Data today on 0811 223 2671 or visit www.onedata.ng for more inquiries. One Data, unlimited speed.
Hey! I dey miss my language oh.
How you go miss your language when na im dem dey speak for Wazobia platform wey dey shele for Wells Radio 89.3 FM?
Haba, Wazobia platform na your program from Wells Radio 89.3 FM wey dey speak Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa plus including Pidgin, and na every Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays you go hear am.
Na from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m.
Advertise for Wazobia platform. Everybody go hear am for every corner for your state and beyond.
Wazobia platform, na people's program.
Boost your business with Wells Radio 89.3 FM. In a competitive world of business, strategic brand and product positioning is key to growth. Don't remain unseen in the shadows. Shine a spotlight on your brand with Wells Radio 89.3 FM today. Why Wells Radio? We are your state's #1 family radio station. We connect with the heart of families in your state. As the smallest unit of the society, families trust Wells Radio for quality content and information. Visit us today along Alafin Avenue, Oluyole Estate, Ibadan. Our white and blue building just before Sharp Corner ensures your business won't go unnoticed. Advertise with us today. Call our marketing office on 0903 936 8185. Call Toby on 0803 509 3394. Yomi on 0706 616 5053. Take the leap today. Let Wells Radio 89.3 FM be the megaphone for your business success. You won't regret it.
Wells Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio.
It's necessary to emphasize here that the reform that I've embarked upon since I took over in Nigeria has been very impactful. I can beat my chest for that. It was initially painful, but today the result is blossoming. It's getting clearer to the people. We have more money to the economy, no more corruption. We have the governor of Central Bank here. You don't have to know him before you get the foreign exchange that you need. The speculators are out in our currency market. The door is open for businesses. Easy in, easy out.
First question is Nigeria better today than 2 years ago? So I assume that is for yes. Is Nigeria better today than 2 years ago? Okay, let's go to the second question. Do you think, order please, do you think the nation is on the right track with the policies of the Tinubu government?
Fast forward, since democracy started in 1999 to now, people are quick to say ASU has been on strike on so number of times, schools have been closed, and you wonder what government itself thinks about these actions. When this government came into power 2.5 years or so ago, we had engaged them. This is the second Minister of Education since the advent of this administration. We engaged Professor Tahir Mamman over these issues. We've engaged this current minister, Dr. Tunja Lausa, over these issues. And it appears as if the machines, of government work extremely slow. And we've heard that over and over again. And we say to ourselves, why can't you make it more efficient? Why can't you make the government more responsive to these issues? But it is what it is that they say it's slow. But we think that we have demonstrated enough patience. We've kept the schools open.
Welcome back to the program, Perspectives Unlimited on Wells Radio 89.3 FM. Let's talk Hope Uzodimma's minimum wage increment to 104,000 before we get back to ASU and education. Let me get your thought on the increment.
Well, the truth of the matter is that despite the fact that it's still not going to make any difference in today's Nigeria, it is still commendable. From 70,000 to 104,000, that is almost a 50% increase. If it had been 105, it would have been exactly 50%. And for me, that's still commendable. The federal government is doing 70, despite having all the money in the world. And state governors are doing...
a state governor.
Yes.
State governors.
State governors are doing more than 70.
More than
Most
70,
of them
right,
are doing more than 70.
More than 70,
Yesterday, Ebonyi shocked the world too by adding an additional 20 and making it 90. Minimum wage in Ebonyi right now is 90. In all seriousness, I think the governors who are not doing up to... Imo State is not that rich. They are not solid. They are not a major oil producing state. And in terms of activities, IGR and stuff like that, they are not really making much. They are banking on what is coming from the federal government. And at that particular point, one cannot but say that shame on the likes of Sanwo-Olu, shame on the likes of Akwa Ibom, shame on the likes of Delta, Rivers, and Seyi Makinde. These are people who are making far more money than Imo State can make. And if I'm not mistaken, Oyo is doing 80,000. I mean, that's embarrassing. If Imo can do 24 more than what Oyo is doing, then Oyo should be talking about going 140, and Lagos should be going 170, and Rivers and the likes. So for me, the biggest villain in all of this is the federal government. Despite making so much money taxing Nigerians to death, your younger brothers, in fact your children, are now doing better than you. I mean, that's a shame.
All right, now let's come to education and to the, maybe what we call a shocking story here. Usually, I really don't like to talk about ASO-related matters for very obvious reasons. And I know Chukwemeka and I, we've had this conversation over and over. Because I have been tracked in an ASO strike of 1 year before.
Yes, dito. So I was telling your colleague yesterday.
I know how challenging or how bad
for
ASO strike can
for
be.
a semester, not a session, semester. I was in school for over a year.
Yes.
Maybe 1 year, 4 months. And so
I've been there.
I forgot because I was even studying then when I resumed work.
Bad enough, I resumed to write exams.
Can you imagine?
And it was a lot of work, to catch up with it. But let's look at this story. No agreement signed with ASU, only proposal, says the federal government. The federal government has clarified that it has no single agreement with the Academic Staff Union of Universities ASU, insisting that discussions so far have only produced draft proposals. The Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, stated this while briefing journalists in Abuja on Thursday. He said, reports suggesting that government had entered into an agreement with the union were inaccurate. Let's take this call. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Yes, I'm Ruth calling from Malakia.
Ruth from Malakia. Good morning. Thank you for calling us.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. As regards the ASU, our education sector really needs urgent intervention from the government. It's so sad that they could not even meet with ASU demand at the 8-day meeting, which really shows our government don't have anything tangible to do in revival against our education sector. Because the education sector is already at the brink of collapse. If the students is not in the streets again and we strike, it will really collapse the more. They should please think outside the box in finding a solution to all these issues. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Ruth. Now, the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, stated this while briefing with journalists on Thursday. He said, reports suggesting that the government had entered into an agreement with the union were inaccurate. Let's take another call here on the line. Good morning to you.
Good morning, West Radio.
Good morning to you, sir.
Okay, sir.
That's Mr. Salami from Awoto.
Oh, exactly. Thank you very much. God bless you, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Sonny.
Morning, sir.
Well done, sir. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Amen. I you, sir.
On West Radio. See, for me, I want to let me start with the little girl. I want to believe the 200,000 naira. Is it Jumbo, what's it called? By the federal and by the
generous reward.
I want to believe it's a slip of tongue. And I am hoping that the government will make a proper pronouncement in dollars. Because, in fact, until this one, when you are testing, I mean, when you are reading a 200,000 naira, I was thinking, could my eardrum be malfunctioning? So that is that. I'm hoping and waiting to hear the right pronouncement from the federal government on that. But more importantly, I hope and I'm praying that the Yobe State government will be able to work with the family of those girls. How do I know? I would pray that the Yobe State government will do a proper reward for the family and the girls especially. But I'm looking at a situation whereby those girls and their families will be relocated outside Yobe State, probably somewhere around Abuja or another state far place in Nigeria. Before all these Boko Haram and all these bandits, we killed their houses and kidnapped them and turned them to their wives all of a sudden. I pray that will never be, because the need that we will send and take that kind of everybody is to hear anything about those girls. They should be at least work with, see them up to universities, probably abroad, at least in the on the ASU, may God help Nigeria.
Amen.
On Mr. President's claim that corruption has been a thing of the person he has in office, we are all seeing it now. May God help Nigeria.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Salami from our town. 0916-893-1000, 0915-333-4893.
I should even had that what the president did as regards to the children who went to UK to win an award is even reactionary, because earlier in the week Atiku Abubakar rewarded those children by giving them scholarship for the remainder of their secondary school years and also to any university of their choosing for their first degree. And the president reacting 2 days after, you would expect him to do something even far greater than that. Now give 200,000. I cannot even pay money for one time.
Just like Mr. Salami said, I'm also very hoping that because we're not just having this conversation here, it's a conversation across board. Hoping that we're going to get another reaction from the presidency,
a meaningful one,
a well-meaningful one, highly commendable one, at least making education much more valuable than some of the reality shows that we get now. Let's get back to ASO. Now, according to Dr. Lausa, I have read some report in the media on Thursday indicating that we have a meeting with ASO that was not correct. Rather, we had an expanded meeting with relevant stakeholders to review the content of the draft agreement. It is disclosed that a committee chaired by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Education had been set up to review ASO's demand line by line and prepare a counter-proposal. The outcome, he added, will then be presented by Yale Hamid-led committee on onward transmission to the union. But it is important for Nigerians to know that the government has no signed agreement with ASO. All we had over the years was a draft agreement that was not signed, here emphasized. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you.
This is Miriam from Odejai.
Good morning, Miriam from Odejai. Speak up a little, Miriam, so we can hear you well.
The increment in passport fee, to me, is just to discourage Nigerians from putting going a passport abroad. But the rate at which nothing seems to be working well in the country will make everyone that is privileged to want to live to actually do so. If you are only with the leaders to put all measures in place to make the country conducive for all. Because the more they increase the passport fee, the more people will strive hard to even get it, because no one wants to suffer. So the federal government should please do the need one time. We cannot keep complaining. Enough is enough. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Miriam. Let's talk about this ASU draft or ASU proposal, which usually ASU would refer to 2009 as an agreement. Now the minister is saying it's a draft. It's not, it's a proposal. A committee will look at it and they will send a counter proposal and the likes. What university lecturers earn, what politicians earn, and that lead to an agreement still not fulfilled. Hence the reason why we're getting constant ASU strike threat, so to say. But we know as to when they are ready, they are ready. Let's get your thoughts in on that.
To start with, what 109 senators take home in a month is enough to pay 4,200 professors. I don't just mean lecturers here. I mean professors. That is one. Two, yesterday, the Minister of Interior came out to tell the whole world that the president has approved lifetime salary, not pension here, lifetime salary for senior officers, retiring senior officers of the Ministry of Interior. I mean, President of the Ministry of Interior, talk of immigration, talk of fire, talk of, civil defense and the likes. I don't know if you can remember when the president said he would be paying retired generals humongous amount of money for the rest of their lives. Did anybody sit down before the president came up with that? Nope. There was no agreement. There was no draft. The minister is not being technical. I mean, that's ridiculous. We're going to get there. What I'm trying to say here is this. I can say with my mouth wide open that this administration is only for the rich. Instead of carrying everybody along, you tax those at the lower level to death and use the proceeds to feed the insatiable bellies of those at the top. And that, to me, is the exact opposite of what a government should be doing. Since 2009, nobody has said anything as regards draft or agreement. It's about, we had a discussion, a very fruitful discussion in 2009, that we couldn't complain about. The good local administration couldn't do it for me because he didn't want to do it. Bali didn't do it for me because he didn't want to do it. And it's still the same for this administration. Instead of insulting our intelligence by saying, oh, it's agreement, it's draft, it's nonsense, it's not nonsense, why don't you implement it and see whether there is going to be calm and peace in our tertiary institutions? And if for any reason you feel like you cannot carry out one of those things, you call them in the presence of everybody. This is antithetical to the growth of Nigeria. This is going to cripple our economy. This is going to, I'm not speaking for the government here, but, nobody is going to ask you to spend the entire revenue of government on education. I understand education is important, but some things are equally important.
Yeah.
Healthcare, agriculture, infrastructure, security, Tell the world, what percentage are you going to be investing? That is number one. Number two, for me, good pay is non-negotiable. Pay them what makes sense. ASU has come out to tell us something that, in fact, it is very shameful, in my opinion, that professors earn 525,000 naira in a month. What do you want to do with that in this country? And before you can be a professor, you must have invested quality time.
A significant part of your life.
In fact, if not your whole life. And at the end of the day, you get rewarded with $300. That is a shame. $300. When your colleagues across the globe are doing $12,000, $15,000 per month, and now you will say, oh, it's unpatriotic to leave the country for another country. Are you kidding me? Who came to this world to suffer? That is it. But like I've always said, what we have in this country is big enough to go around 4 times over. But it is not big enough to satisfy a greedy few. If we want to be fair and just in our mode of asset and wealth distribution in this country, everybody's going to be satisfied. But how can that happen when senators are going on with almost 30 mil per month? It can never happen. That is why we are where we are. And I should tell you that ASUP also came out yesterday to say that in 21 days, they are going on strike. They're not talking to anybody again. They have given a lot of 21-day ultimatums that came and went without the federal government even opening their mouth. This time around, they are saying that they are not kidding. There's also an association, lab attendants, which is also, a union in our tertiary institutions. They have also said that they are going on strike. See, if things are working well, if they are doing well, if everybody is being taken care of, nobody is going to go on strike.
True.
Throughout the years of Yaradua, they never went on strike for once, simply because they gave them what they felt was enough. But now you are increasing everything that goes out of their pocket, but when it comes to what comes into their pocket, you are tightening the screw. I mean, that is most certainly a recipe for disaster.
0916-893-1000, 0915-3334-893, and 0911-333-893, 0916-893-1000, 0915-334-893, and 0911-333-893. Let's look at this story on the Punch. Awaiting trial. Inmate feeding gulps 14 billion naira in 8th month. The Nigerian Correctional Services, has spent over 14 billion naira on feeding inmate awaiting trial between January and August 2025. An analysis of inmate record obtained from the service showed that the population of individuals held without trial has steadily increased over the past 8th month. In January, there were 48,932 inmates awaiting trial. The inmate rose to 52,771 by the end of February, further increased to 53,000 in March. By April, the figure was 52,937. In June, it stood at 53,178, and then upward increase there and there. Now, based on the monthly average, the inmate population during this period stood approximately at 52,665. However, the bottom line is that between the 1st of January and the 25th of August, a total of 237 days, the Correctional Service spent estimated of 59.2 million naira daily to feed trial inmates. When multiplied the 237-day period, the total cost announced, amounted to 14.04 billion naira. And of course, when you get report from those who do prison charity in the missions, those who do prison evangelism.
I did it once.
And then when they get back to you and give you reactions and tell you how these people are faring, it's not equal to the figure that the government is giving. Let's look at the figure. 14 billion naira in 8 months.
14 billion may sound like a lot of money. But consider the fact that we're talking about feeding an average of 50,000 people per day, and multiply that by 200 and whatever days. I mean, it's next to nothing if you do the mathematics. As a lump figure, it is huge. 14 billion is serious money. But if you consider the fact that they are using it to feed tens of thousands of people every day for 8 months.
8 months. And especially people who should not
be there
in the first place.
Yeah, it's nothing. It would have been reduced to shreds. And that's the truth. If the whole money is coming in, it is next to nothing. The question I have for our corrections officers this morning is that, is the entire money going in? You know, you can't begin to say, oh, this, that, this. But the truth of the matter is that, minding the fact that corruption is not a citizen of Nigeria, can we say that the entire money is actually going in? I mean, it's just a poser. It's a question this morning. What I'm saying here essentially is that the federal government needs to do better.
Let's take this call. Hello, good morning to you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, West Radio.
Good morning, Mr. George from Ologweru.
Yeah, this is George from Ologweru.
Good morning to you, sir.
The government is not dealing with issues properly. Look at the amount of money you said now that they are spent in feeding awaiting trial prisoners. And look at what the ASO people are asking for. If somebody committed an offense and you kept him somewhere and you are spending that amount of money in feeding them, for the people who are doing good job for you, you are refusing to pay them money. don't you think that there is a very big misplacement of priority in it? We have heard of people who have remained in prison for over 10 years for awaiting trial for a crime that is something that they should have addressed under, let me just say, 3 or 6 weeks. Why are we creating problems for ourselves? He came now, he approved lifetime salary for retiring senior citizens. I don't know how to place that word. And those who are working, they are not getting enough to feed themselves. What really is what they are looking at in making all these policies that they are making? I think we should sit down and look at these things properly so that we don't keep wasting our money. Some are eating fat while others are dying of hunger. It's not a very good policy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. George. So looking at that story, 14 billion naira. Okay. All right, don't worry. We lost that call. 2 callers back. Let me get your thought in there.
The truth of the matter is that the federal government needs to do better. I have my own idea of prisons reform. If you have been behind bars for an offense that its penalty, should you be convicted, should not exceed the time you have spent behind bars in the name of awaiting trial, let that person go home immediately. That is going to see to a massive reduction number of people behind bars in this country. That's that. Number 2, we need more judges. That's just the truth of the matter. We need more judges for fast, judgment. And for those currently behind bars, is it a must that you bring them to the court every day? Can't you have a video session where you can try them while they are at Agodi and the session is going on in Adio here? It's not a must for you to bring them every day. That's going to consume more money.
Reduce,
more money, and even it's a risk factor. So these are the ways that they can, reduce spendings and, take the money to where it really matters, not where it doesn't matter.
That's all we can take this morning. Thank you so much for your time.
It is always an honor to be here.
Well, there are too many stories. Please enjoy them, read them, and while you read them, pray for Nigeria. It's very important that, yes, we need to work and pray. However, I think we should do both side by side.
For me, 90% work, 10% prayer.
Oh, well, still, prayer is still in the mix.
Oh, for sure.
Thank you so much for your state. That's our show for you today. Perspectives Unlimited returns on Monday, 6:30 a.m. up until 7:30. And, of course, do join Chukwemeka Munachiso and the other gentlemen on the round table tomorrow morning. My name is Ayo Emmanuel-Ojo. Up next is AM Sport. God bless you.
Please listen to this important information. The views expressed by the interviewee in this program are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of Wells Radio 89.3 FM or its affiliated entities. Wells Radio 89.3 FM is committed to providing a platform for diverse perspectives and opinions, and the views expressed by guests on our programs are their personal viewpoints. Wells Radio 89.3 FM does not endorse or take responsibility for the content or opinions expressed by individual interviewees and callers.